Thank you everyone for joining us today. We're really excited to talk about harnessing community power in online sports stores. And I'm your host. My name is Iska. And joining me today is our head of marketing, former semi-pro road cyclist, Jutta. Sorry about the doggo here. And as well, Jorg Evers, our customer success manager for many of our great sports brands that he'll be talking you through today. Jutta, I'm going to start with you today. You have a very big passion for sports, and I think that's why you relate so well with our sports clients. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, thank you, Iske, for the introduction. Before I start talking a little bit about me, I actually would like to first ask a question to all the audience here on the call. And the question is very simple. What is your passion? What are you really passionate about? So as you can see, my passion is cycling. I have in the past done some racing, and I'm still very often on the bike, spend a lot of my free time on the bike. I also discovered bike packing. The cycling community is a very strong community. Cycling is a team sport, and you spend a lot of time with other people that are as passionate as myself about cycling. One thing that is very common in cycling is also that you kind of exchange on all the experiences that you have. There are many platforms like Strava, like Garmin, where you also meet with the community. You share your experiences about products that you are using, that you recommend. If you want to have a new bike or some new spare parts for your bike, you very naturally ask people in your community what they recommend, what they use. Very typical also for the gearing that you are wearing. You would ask before you buy a rain jacket for a couple of €100, you would, because it's a lot of money. So if you invest that, you want to make sure that you buy the right product, and then you will ask your friends from the community who has experiences with a good rain jacket, what can you recommend? And this is really how it works. So I asked this question to the audience, and when you think about it, I'm sure that many of you know this feeling. If you have a passion, that people in your surrounding will also ask you when they want to have some advice. They will ask you, what is your experience? And I think in sports, it relates extremely well. It's supernatural because sports is so much of a community behavior. This is the dynamic that we really want to bring across to the brands we are working with at Guru. We had this vision that we want to ensure that people can actually benefit of this community behavior also on brands' websites.
I think that actually perfectly just fits in how we see this in e-commerce. The statistic, there's so much out there, but I think this summarizes it well, that 88% of consumers trust peer recommendations more than any other form of media. And I'm sure all the sports brands that are joining us today can attest to that you see your customers, the first place they go is to other athletes to get advice. And we really see this in our work with the sports brands we work with, increase year on year. And that brings me to you, Jorg. You're also a passionate sports person. Firstly, I'd love you to just talk us through these pictures that are with some of our sports clients. And then also you could tell us, obviously, our clients all have something in common. What is that commonality?
Yeah, nice to be part of this webinar. And yeah, what do the brand that work together with us? So I'm customer success manager. So my daily work is to be in meetings with our brands, and they share together that they want to bring this super great experience in their online shop. So to bring the community to their shop and show the passion for the sports.
So maybe I can just jump in here on the top left, very obvious canyon that Jörg and the team met last year. Then on the lower image, we have Stefan from Atomic, with whom we could run a session in Vienna earlier this year. And then you also had this workshop together with the Oberalp group on the right-hand side picture. So I think this is really nice to show that. And we also appreciate a lot that these people take the time to spend with us. And some content that we share here also comes out of those sessions that we ran together with them. We had one webinar with Canyon last week that was in German. And as I said, with Atomic, we met in Vienna for a session. So we are super happy now that we can share this here with the audience as well.
Let's talk about some of these great brands. Let's start with Atomic. Jörg, please give us an introduction about Atomic, our work with them, their community.
First of all, so I wanted to talk about the success indicators. So the success indicators we have is engagement rate, CSAT and NPS, and conversion rate. What is special about Atomic is that we started it from scratch, like internationally, multi-language. There we try to make the community visible and tangible in the shop, to really tell the visitors that is searching for a product, that wants to purchase, that there's a community for help, and you can ask the community like a friend around the clock. What we achieved with this engagement points we offer is that the engagement rate to bring customers or potential customers into conversation more than doubled. We see this in all our brands, that we get more people in the conversation, people that need product advice. We get into the conversation and they get help from the community, from one who shares the same passion, and it's speaking with friends.
Thanks, Jörg. I think we're excited to also hop into the other sports brands that you have some interesting KPIs to share with us. But I think I'm just going to take a moment to do a quick overview of these peer-to-peer athletes that talk to each other via the online stores. How do sports brands actually build the communities behind them, and how does this whole system work? So firstly, I'm sure most brands that are joining us today, they have a customer loyalty program. And this is really the easiest database for anyone that could potentially be a very knowledgeable customer that could offer live advice to a customer or shopper that's on a product page and needs an answer to a question in an authentic, connected way. So you can invite them. And we also have this invitation box that you can implement on your online store. So shoppers can see it if they also happen to be repeat purchases. And then secondly, we co-create a test with the brand. So this test is essentially designed to make sure we test each customer's knowledge of your products so that they're able to really give great, relevant advice, and that they're also truly passionate. And we also test the communication skills. And what's great about this is that it all functions within a very simple mobile app. And then once you have qualified these customers to actually offer advice, we call them gurus. Here you can see in the trust tab, we call it a partner portal. And here you can actually see the metrics, the performance, the chats of all your gurus. And just a reminder, gurus are your qualified, loyal customers that are very knowledgeable. And yes, you can also see some customer engagement in terms of your community engagement points. And then lastly, yes, athletes already have so much knowledge. If you just think of how you feel when you know a lot, it's so easy. And so you're so eager to share that knowledge with us when they ask. But what keeps the motivation going is our reward system, which can either be loyalty points or cash. And if it's cash, then Guru completely handles those elements. And I think this is a good time for you to maybe to take us into a practical example of Canyon and how they built their community and the process that they shared with us in the webinar last week.
Yes, I'd love to do this. Thanks, Iske. So the community building at Canyon. So as I said in this session we ran last week, the German session, that was together with Gudrun Scharler, who is the Global Director Customer Experience at Canyon, and Dirk Dammert, who is Global Director Customer Service at Canyon. They shared a lot of super interesting insights that I'm happy to present here with you. So basically, Canyon, as many of the brands that are now in this call here as well, has already a very strong existing community. Mainly the community is on social media, and that's where they interact with each other. They already saw that there was a lot of exchange going on, you know, as I described it before, which is sharing experiences, sharing opinions about the brand itself, about the products, but also about the trends. And they questioned how can we use this dynamic of such a community and also this knowledge that is in such a community in a more effectful way. And when we first started to speak to them, they were really excited about this idea to bring the community directly onto their website and in their online store. So how did they then start to build the guru community? The gurus are really the expert members of the community, those who have proven expertise about the products and about the topic. And what you can see here on the left-hand side are the peaks when they started to communicate to their community members. And they did that by sending out an email on one side and also by posting this advertisement about the community program that they run now together with us to their dedicated Facebook groups. So the first one was that went out was beginning of May, as you can see. And then what they do is they promote the program, and there is also the link to the app, to the Guru app, that the users can then download. This is a simple app that you use either on your mobile phone or there is also a desktop version. Those members who were interested, once they have signed up for the app, could then start to read about the program and do a test. So it's all about testing the knowledge of the people. The way Canyon did it is, and you see that on the top right-hand side, is they defined 5 categories where they wanted to test the knowledge of their members. One was a general one, and then they had one dedicated to each subtopic of cycling, which is mountain biking, gravel biking, e-bikes, road bikes, and city/trekking bikes. Each category had about 5 questions, so it's not like the huge test or whatever, but these questions were very specific to these relevant topics. And actually, they were super difficult to answer. We had one guru, one expert that also joined last week's session. We will talk about him a little bit later. And he said it was really difficult. It was not just like, you just quickly go through and can answer. It was really dedicated questions. There is also typically what we recommend, the motivational question to really understand why someone wants to be part of the program. And then on the bottom right side, you see the submission status, and you can actually see out of these over 250 interested people, they were only about 100 that were passing the test. So it was not like everybody passed. And to go back now on the left-hand side, where you see another additional peak in July, and then again, end of July, beginning of August. So what we observe very often is you have some community members that become gurus and they start to chat, but there is a bit of a fluctuation, and that can also be very natural because, for instance, this guru that we spoke to, he's a student, and then maybe he has some exams, and then during this period, he will probably take less questions. Maybe you also have a special event that happens where you know that there will be an increase in requests, and then you can promote the program again to your community to gain a couple of members. You can see that they re-engaged with community to find some new experts, and then at some point it balances out and you are actually with a good group of people.
Thank you, Jutta. Jörg, I'm going to give over to you to give us some details that wasn't mentioned about Canyon yet, but also to give us some insight in terms of how satisfied are shoppers with these interactions.
Yeah, to follow on what Jutta said, the special thing in Canyon is that they are a D2C pure brand. They sell the bicycles via online shop, and they have only some showrooms to show the bikes. They have only a few contact points to their customers. They wanted to have a really good contact to their customers and showing the community in their online shop. You said it already, and I mentioned it before. We have some success indicators and measure success. We started last season, and from beginning on until now, we have an average CSAT value like 4.8 from out of 5. The customers, they really love to talk to the community. Then we have a second one, like an NPS score that we measure, and the NPS score is an average of 80. To set this a bit in boundaries or in comparison, it's like 70 is already a very excellent customer satisfaction score. Multinational brands like Netflix, they have the score like 64, or Amazon has 54. It's all about to get direct contact to the community and talk to a friend and get product advice from someone who's really passionate about cycling and the brand Canyon.
Jutta, you spoke about someone who is really passionate about Domenico, and I think you'd love to share a bit more detail about what he shared in his experience as a guru, what motivates him, why he does this.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is typically also a question that we hear very often. And I also have a nice anecdote from Canyon, what they shared with us last week. But let me first talk about Domenico. I met him only online, but I met him and exchanged a little bit with him why he is a guru. You see him here on the left-hand side. He is just very similar like me. He just loves cycling. He spends a lot of time on his bike, and he likes to share the knowledge he has. He is actually a student, and he is one of those guys who takes on lots of chats, but also, you know, when he has exams or when he is at university, then he can in the app just pause accepting requests. And he also said what he likes about it is when a request comes in, it's like a push notification that pops up, and then he can accept it. He sees a preview of the question, and if he sees that the question isn't really suited for his knowledge, then he can just ignore it and someone else will pick it up. It's a bit on a first come, first serve basis. He also says that sometimes he wants to pick it up, but then it's already gone and another community member has picked it up. And you can also see here the feedback he gets. I mean, we have plenty of this feedback. This is all covered in what we call the partner portal. We have one single platform where you can get all the insights, you can see the conversations in real time. He actually also shared a bit what his motivation is, and I just want to maybe read 2 sentences that he shared with us, which I find very nice. He said, first of all, it's the passion for biking, why I'm a guru. It's like talking to friends every day who share exactly the same interest. It's about passing on this enthusiasm. I have the chance to get new people excited about our great hobby. There are few things more fulfilling than seeing someone in a chat discover the same joy and passion that drives me. I think this is a beautiful quote. As I said, I spoke to him and I can really feel this dynamic that he has and why he wants to be a guru for Canyon.
What we achieved in Canyon was from the beginning on, this is a relevant digit. So we are under 60 seconds. So you can connect to the community in real time. So it's not like, okay, I post a question and then they get answered next day. It's like almost right away and almost around the clock.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Jörg. And we also see when we check some of the chat examples that very often they come in. I mean, when are we available to do some online shopping or to think about the next home trainer, I say, that we want to buy? We do that outside of working hours when we are at home. And you can see that some of the chats he does are really very late. And one anecdote that I also found interesting is that the 2 people we spoke to last week said there was really skepticism at the beginning. So while Gudrun and Dirk both really liked this approach of including the community, it's not like everyone jumped up of joy. Yes, let's do this. They were like, what do you mean? And who is community? And how can we control what they are saying? So there was a bit of a doubt. Right now, Canyon uses the service on the German page, but they have now planned a rollout to the US and also to Benelux countries and some other European countries. And Dirk told us this one anecdote that he went to the US and he showcased what they do in Germany with the community, and he showed the results. And they were like, wow, this is unbelievable. The answers that they deliver, and where did you find these guys? How can we also have them? Can we also find those guys? And Gudrun also shared one example where she said they did some training about a new product that comes out. They sent the the test question about this new product to several people, like to some agents from the contact center and also some gurus. And she said the only guy who got all right was actually a guru from the community. So, I mean, this is, of course, nice for us to hear, but it's also a nice anecdote because it shows that people really spend so much time with the products that they love.
Yeah, I think you start from such a great base because it's already your loyal customers, and then it's the most knowledgeable customers of that community. I think that also brings us to another fantastic brand that has a community-powered online store. Could you talk us through Dynafit?
Yes, Dynafit is one brand of the Obal group. You saw the picture already that where we were in the Chiemgauer Alpen, like in the Alps, having some snow fun. And yeah, Dynafit is one of their brands. And here you see in the blue circle, you see one of our other engagement points where you can connect to the community in live. At the end, everybody asks about the return of invest. It's a seasonal business and it fluctuates a bit. We know if someone enters a Google conversation, the conversion rate fluctuates between 6 and 15. So this is a big up and down, but it is 5 times higher that someone converts if he's in a conversation or she. This is the kind of engagement that the community deliver to give product advice, and yeah, they don't have to sell it directly, but they convince the people to buy it. So
yeah, quite in an organic way, which is exactly what consumers just increasingly want. You want to talk to someone that just has real experience and it's not a salesy pitch. And I think we're probably just going to see that increase in the coming years. Jörg, I would love for you to share us just a couple of words about a quote that we're very proud of. Everyone probably knows Benedict. But
yeah,
yes.
I really love the quote that Benedict posted here. Like it's not like just a SaaS solution that we offer. It's more an ultimate brand experience. So if you enter a community chat, you get the brand experience on site. I think the quote says all.
Iske, do you allow me to read a few of the questions that came in, and maybe we can already take on some of them and answer? One question is if you could expand on how these brands are enrolling, incentivizing their community in the activities. I think this is a very valid question that comes up often during the webinars. There is an incentive that the gurus get. There are 2 approaches. You can either incentivize through an award system, through points, and then allow these gurus / athletes to reinvest the points then in the e-store of the brand they are guru for. But you can also do it in cash. So our platform allows to a cash reward system where you can pay out gurus depending on the quality also of the answer. And it's a very simple system. Non-rated advice, there is no reward, but if it's well rated, then they receive a little reward. And it's mainly also for the effort that they take to share their knowledge and their expertise with the online shoppers. Jörg, I'm sure you can explain this even a little bit better. One thing that I want to mention is that when I speak to the gurus, I never heard any of them saying that he does it for the incentive. They think it's a nice to have, and they are pleased to receive it, but it's not what it's motivating them, right?
That's true. I think the motivation is their true passion to the product, to the brand, and to the sports, of course. But at the same time, of course, it's a big plus that if you, for example, as a brand, if you give points to them, they purchase products in your shop, so they stay in your environment. At the same time, of course, for the gurus, it's a bit more flexible if they get the cash out. Let's talk about other incentives that you can give them. So we did some challenges, for example. So challenges during winter time, during Christmas time, when we see that maybe the engagement rate of the gurus goes down, and you can do some challenges, and you see in our partner portal who's the fastest, who takes the most chats, who has the best handling time, who is the best rated one. Then you can do via our partner portal challenges and say the best gets an additional voucher of 50 euros or something else, like products. This is an additional incentive. If you have the customer card, loyalty card, so some of our customers use the existing loyalty card to put more points on it. This is possible too.
Another option. Yeah, then one question is about Canyon, that Canyon sells expensive bikes. What happens if a member of the community recommends the wrong product? Who takes responsibility? I think that this is very easily resolved, because what is important is that you show that this is community. So shoppers that interact with a guru, with a community member, they know that this is the community, that they receive advice, but that's about it. It's actually like if you would ask your friend, which bike would you recommend? You would not go and ask this friend then to be responsible for your decision. And the brands position the community chat as such, so that it's clear it's not employees.
So of course it can happen, but in our partner portal we offer like a space where you can see the interactions and you can coach the gurus or the experts you have in your community, so the community members. So invest a bit of time to get an overview about your community. You see, you can trust them or you can coach them. You have a space in the partner portal where you can upload informations about your products. In my 1.5 years here in Guru, I never had the feedback from a customer that he complained about there was wrong product.
And one question is about an escalation process. If a community member cannot answer a question, that's a very simple answer. They can forward the request to like in-house to an agent or to the staff from the brand. This option is available. Also, questions that they cannot answer, or let's say if it's a question that would require account access, they are even supposed to forward that to the agents and not answer that. And that's a very easy way. Then there is one question: how can you make sure there's a member available to chat with? There is always someone available, because that's the nature of the solution. So whenever a request gets in, it gets distributed to several community members, like a first batch, and they will be answered by a first come, first served basis. And as Domenico already said, sometimes he wants to answer, but then the question is already gone because another guru picked it up.
And maybe to mention it additionally, the community is big enough, then 24/7 answers a person. So as bigger the community is, as shorter the response rate is. I think there's again a question about the time zone. If we go to the US, for example, then we need community members that live in the time zones. If there are some interactions during the night, the density of gurus during the night in European time is then less than during the day. This is clear. So if we go to the US, we need to engage or to get community members from the US time zone.
Currently, there is 22 language regions covered throughout different brands. There's also, beyond the time zone, the multi-language advantage, that you choose a community relevant to the products and where your brand branch is situated.
Yeah, this depends a little bit what kind of online stores you have. We cover over 20 languages. This has never been an issue that would prevent a brand to use the community. One more question for you, Jörg, I believe, is about the conversion rate. What time frame do we calculate this on?
Yeah, this is a good question. In our partner portal, you have a section. It's about the conversion rate. And on a pie chart, you can see if they convert directly or in the next 2 hours or the same day or the next 7 days. It's about 1/3 to 2/3 that convert directly. I would say in most of the cases, it's the tipping point when someone is like, okay, shortly before buying and deciding the last questions.
To make up the final decision. And I think that also goes into what you said earlier, Jörg, is that it is not a salesperson. It's not someone who is incentivized in the proper sales term, right, to sell a product. I mean, the community, at the end of the day, for them, it's irrelevant if someone buys a product or not. But if they can share an opinion and that helps someone to make the final decision, then that's what it is all about.
The qualities is the CSAT score that I mentioned before. The users that use the chat, they already rate the guru. So they get the rating, and our algorithm favors community members that have a good rating. It's the algorithm that ensures the quality, but additionally, the community members, they've gone through this community building process.
There is one more anecdote from Canyon that I can share here, and it also explains this motivational aspect for the gurus. First of all, when we speak to gurus, and for example, when we asked Domenico to join the webinar, he felt very honored that Canyon wanted him to be part of the webinar. So you can also see, I mean, he is a Canyon customer at the end of the day, but he is also kind of an advocate for Canyon. But Canyon has the showroom, and they do every now and then some training sessions that people can attend. And then there was this showroom guy who did a session about new bikes. There was a father and a son who attended that session, and they both then said, "We are actually gurus on your website." The showroom guy didn't know that, but he was really surprised that these two people took the time to go there to really learn about the new products. I think it's important to not underestimate this power of the community members, and we would love to help you leverage this, because we see it firsthand when we speak to those people, the potential that is there. It's very normal that there are these questions about quality, about control. From what we see with those great brands that we can already work with, this is something less to worry. The platform has certain mechanisms that already ensures that quality is good and that the right people are there. The platform allows you to really gain all the insights on results, on behavior. You actually also gain a lot of interesting insights about the nature of the questions, the content that is asked, and this allows you to feed back to your own teams to improve either the e-store or to improve some of, maybe even some from a product perspective. This is interesting to see when we speak to the brands, what's the dynamic that is there.
If there's an ambassador base, of course, we can source community members out of the ambassador base. So we do this, but you don't have to have one. If you have ambassadors, if you have only your CRM system and some a good newsletter or social media accounts like Jutta told before, these are all the sources where we resource the community from. And additionally, we have an invitation box that we can offer on your site and where you can invite your community directly from your site.
Thanks, Jörg. Thanks, Jutta. We're sharing Jutta's contact details here. With that, I just want to thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and we hope you have a good Wednesday.